free to join me. Inclined. Feel free to jump on in. I'm listening. I am listening. I am listening to my heart. I am listening. I am listening to my heart. I am sharing. I am sharing from my heart. I am sharing. I am sharing from my heart. I hear the call, awakening within. Yes, I hear the call. The time is now, begin. Oh, I hear the call, awakening within. Yes, I hear the call. The time is now, begin. Oh, I am listening. I am listening to my heart. I am listening. I am listening to my heart. I am sharing. I am sharing from my heart. I am sharing. I am sharing from my heart. Take a nice big breath in if you're joining me. Breathe out through your mouth. Feel free to shift your body around. Let yourself get comfortable and settled in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Sunday for me, or whatever day it is that you are tuning in to this talk here today. Welcome to Empower Your Voice. So today we're going to talk all about how to break through fear, how to silence stage fright, how to find your authentic voice, and so you can express with more confidence and more ease. Hey? How does that sound? Sound okay? So just briefly, for those that I haven't met before, I'm Tiffany Sparrow. I am a Métis musician. I am a music counseling therapist. I am a mom. I am a mentor, all kinds of descriptions. And I'm just really happy to be here today. And I love helping people like yourself use mind, body, sound techniques to, to find their authentic voice, and just to be more who you came here to be more who we came here to be together. So that's going to be the gist of what I'm offering here today. Feel free and please check out, I've got a free bonus gift that I'll talk about at the end of this session. Probably the links will be in the comments at some point, but feel free to reach out to me for it as well. Okay, so let's jump in here today. I want to invite you to just put in the chat if you've ever felt really nervous, anxious, like you want to run out of the room, scared at the thought of public speaking, expressing yourself in public, sharing to a large audience, etc. Have you ever, or do you regularly feel that way? And if you do, please put an eek in the comment, EEK, or the scared face emoji in the comment. Go ahead and post that whenever you're tuning in. Because the statistic is that if that is you, you're in really good company, okay? So 75% of people, so that's 3 out of every 4 people, have a fear of expressing themselves in public. They're afraid, they have anxiety about public speaking, about public expression and sharing of any kind. And this can be both in informal conversations with colleagues and friends, or with more formal presentations like this. Not that this is super formal, but a workshop or a presentation or something public that way. So 3 out of 4 people, if you're one of them, you're not alone, you're in good company, okay? And I've got a couple more statistics about public expression. So about between 20 and 25% of people actively will avoid any kind of situation where they might be required to speak in front of people, right? They'll like go the other way, beeline the other way. So 20 to 25% of people, a quarter of the people, will literally just run the other way. And another 35% of people will, even though they're scared, they'll oh, they'll grit their teeth and bear it. They'll be shaking in their boots maybe and just do it anyways, maybe feel really awkward and uncomfortable, really, really scared and just hating it, but they'll do it anyways. So that's 35% of people, right? So neither of those scenarios is ideal, right? Completely avoiding it or just doing it, gritting your teeth and bearing it and doing it while being really afraid, not ideal, right? So, and I just want to say that I have been there myself, okay? I've been terrified. I've been the person that's shut off and run the other way. I've been the person that's gritted my teeth and done it anyways, despite feeling really, really, really scared. And as a young person, I dealt with a lot of social anxiety. I had eating disorders, just an overall real discomfort and dislike of who I was in my body, how I expressed myself as a person in general. And then that, of course, bled into very intense performance anxiety. And of course, I came from a family of musicians, so there was lots of performance opportunities, and I love music. And with music often comes, you need to perform or want to perform. And I have so many visceral memories of my body like shaking as I was trying to stand and sing, or I'm like holding my oboe and I can barely play because I'm shaking so much, or just sick before performances, waking up in the middle of the night, crying, beating myself up, etc., to the point where in my early 20s, I actually stopped singing and performing for years, okay? I just couldn't handle the stress, the anxiety, the intensity of that, and just what I would do with myself in terms of my critical voices, okay? So I just want to let you know that if you are going through that, if there is a real aversion, that I've been there and I've been through the other side, and there is a way through. And I'm here to share some of that with you, okay? Because the truth is that suppressing your honesty, suppressing who you are, suppressing expressing who you are because of fear of judgment or fear of the negative impacts in your life, does anyways. It negatively impacts your life. So because of the fear of maybe the fallout or the fear of the judgment or whatever, your anxiety, it does anyways have a negative impact in your life. It limits your relationships because maybe you're not being completely honest or saying what you need to say to who you need to say it. It limits your educational achievements and your career and work prospects because maybe you're not putting yourself out there fully, or you're not taking those risks or stepping up and stepping out in your career. Maybe people can't even find you or know what you're doing because you're not wanting to express it. It limits your overall well-being. So your mental, emotional health, your physical health even, but because we just feel fraudulent, feel like maybe unfulfilled, maybe like you're just not sharing a part of yourself. And that feels that's hard to bear. It can feel unfulfilled, unsatisfied, depressed, all that kind of thing. So instead, what I invite you to take on is the idea that even if your voice trembles, your voice is a powerful force. It is unique to you. It is needed in the world. Your voice is a powerful force. Okay, just take a moment. Maybe put your hand on your heart, or maybe on your voice, your throat, and just breathe that in. Your voice is a powerful force. It is needed in this world. So it's time to stop letting fear silence who you are and your impact. Okay, you with me? Give me a yes or a thumbs up or something in the comments when you feed that back. Okay. And as I was saying, there is a way through. So now I share pretty widely on groups or in groups and on stages. I've toured internationally on my own and also with other musicians, kirtan artists, etc. I speak and I lead workshops and conferences. I've been on stages of 500 plus. I offer music, education sessions. I've put out lots of solo albums, and I teach and lead groups. And so I'm just doing a lot of public expression. And so I'm here to be a testament to there is a way through, from someone who was really scared of it to, okay, now I can do this and have fun and actually enjoy it. So I'm wondering if you resonate with that, and if that's something that you want yourself, maybe put a express in the comments or whatever feels good to you that way. Maybe a yes there, right? So there is a way through. Okay, so just some things that people do, some mistakes that people do when they're trying to handle stage fright, and we've already kind of talked about the first one, is a mistake they make is that they'll avoid sharing presenting altogether, right? They'll run the other way and just say, no, I'm too scared, I won't do it. But the fallout for that, the downside to that is that it leaves us dissatisfied, disempowered, just feeling like, oh, there's a piece of us missing. Maybe we're here to share. We're all here to share in some way, right? But avoiding that will leave that out. Another mistake people make is that they keep delaying, they keep editing a talk, or editing their speech, or editing their group workshop or whatever to get it just right. They keep reworking. The problem with that is that you could rework it forever, right? Mind effing, as one of the music producers I worked with called it, right? We could work on it and edit, but it's just, it'll never be done. It'll never be good enough. We have to just sort of say, look, putting it out there now. Another mistake people make is over scripting or memorizing what they're going to present or talk, right? So what happens with that, I find, is that, I don't know if you've experienced that in a lecture or a talk where someone's just reading and it's just reading. It's not actually connecting. It's not actually responding to the moment or the room in the moment, and it can become robotic. You can even forget, so that's a whole other anxiety level too. If you've got it trying to memorize something, you can easily forget things that are memorized. Another mistake people make is to read confidence books or recite affirmations or do some mindset work like that, which is a good start, but focuses too much on the mind, okay? Too much on the mind. And what happens is it doesn't go deep enough. We're focusing on our conscious mind when we're doing that kind of work, which is good, but we want to get into the subconscious and then into the body, because it's really our body and our subconscious that holds that automatic fear response. So we want to work in an embodied way, okay? Another mistake people make is that they take workshops to design it's not a mistake inherently, but they think that that's going to take them through the fear. So they take workshops to design their talk, craft their business strategy. They do businessy kind of workshops. And those are good too, but what the issue is that they don't actually address the nerves and fear for the most part, right? They're there to really help you craft the design of things rather than actually get to the roots of suppression. One more mistake I see people making is they go to yoga, which again is good. I'm not discouraging that, but most yoga doesn't get specific enough. It doesn't address the stage fright and performance anxiety specifically, doesn't hit it on the head enough to really let it translate into that real world activity. So that when you might get zen and relaxed and om shanti on the yoga mat, but then when you go to present or when you go to sing or when you go to express yourself in a group, those skills don't filter over, right? Okay, so those are just some of the mistakes that people make, thinking that will help. And I want to talk to you about some keys that have really helped me to help myself and help you express with confidence, with authenticity, with more ease, to move from stage fright to stage might, all of those things. Okay, so I'm going to take you through a few of those steps now. So the first key is to use what I call vocal liberation strategies to work with your literal voice. Okay, so we want to work with your literal voice using vocal liberation strategies. And so a few reasons for this. And the first one is the only way to find your voice is to use it. Okay, I'm going to say that again. The only way to find your voice is to use it. So if we're looking at stepping out of our comfort zone, we're looking to express ourselves and connect with people more, we actually need to work with our literal voice, and not just on mindset and not just on strategies and not just on breathing, although that is part of working with your voice actually, but we want to work with your literal voice, okay? And this is partly because your voice is a window to who you are. It's a window into who your essence is, your soul essence. It's a signature part of your identity. Okay, so much of identity is connected here, and your energetic imprint of your identity in your throat chakra. Okay, another thing is that it's a gatekeeper of your emotions, and so any emotional suppression that we have when we try and use our voice is just going to come up. So it's important to use our voice and practice using our literal voice to move through some of that. And the other thing that working with your literal voice does is it helps to move through suppression that blocks your expression. Okay, so your voice is a metaphor, a representation, and a vessel for your expression. And it's not a thing to perfect. It's a thing to expand and to expand your range and flexibility with, okay? So I encourage you to work with your literal voice and using vocal liberation strategies. What do I mean by vocal liberation? I mean reframe your relationship with your voice, okay? Your voice, you're going to use it to express, not to impress, to transform, not to perform, to accept, not to perfect, and to repair, not to compare. So here's where some mindset comes in, okay? You're going to think about your voice as a tool to help you express, transform, accept, and repair, not to impress, not to perform or put a mask on, not to perfect and get right, because there is no perfection, or to compare, because you are unique, okay? We're going to start to reframe our relationship with our voice invitation in vocal liberation to play, to experience, to get into silliness, to embrace some of the things you might label as flaws, and to lean into the feeling sensation rather than listening to yourself. And that's a whole other conversation because we misperceive how we hear ourselves, but to lean into sensation, okay? So what vocal liberation is it's not a singing lesson. It's mind, body, voice techniques, okay? So it's taking your voice and it's using it as a mind, body tool, almost as a sound healing tool. Actually, your voice is one of your most impactful sound healing tools. And one of the benefits of this is that the techniques are regulating practices. So using your voice in different ways, as I'm going to share a couple with you, will help you calm and ground through the anxiety, okay? Another facet of vocal liberation strategy is to have safe expression opportunities. So to really scaffold your expression opportunities so you don't have to suddenly, you know, on the first stage, it's okay, you're going to go out onto a stage of 500. No, we're going to work into it from maybe sharing something in your journal to sharing something with someone close to you to sharing something with colleagues to maybe going on socials or maybe actually then pre-recording something to going like, et cetera, et cetera. We're building into it, right? So scaffolding your expression opportunities as you reframe your relationship with your voice, okay? And so the big benefit to this is that it strengthens your literal voice and your communication overall, and it reframes your relationship with your voice, okay? So some techniques that I love, so just really briefly here, really shortly, some techniques I love, vocal liberation strategies. The first one is to move and take breaths in and release out with sound. So this is some somatic bouncing. I'll just back up. I invite you to do it with me. And just bending at your legs and letting your arms go floppy. Take a deep breath in and release that with whatever sound wants to come through. Give yourself permission, even if it's silly, even if it doesn't make sense. Start to wake up those parts of your voice that maybe you haven't let yourself use. Good. And then sometimes I go around the body and do sound effects. So for example, arms. Give your arms a shake and be the sound effect. Or maybe your hips. Etc. Like that, okay? So that is some somatic bouncing with sound. Another thing I like to do is just tap into the full body breath here. So we all probably know about belly breath. So let's take a belly breath, inhale and expand your upper abdomen, exhale and deflate. But I'm going to invite you then to take that around. Put your hands on your rib cage, thumbs behind if you can, not on your waist, on your rib cage. And then imagine yourself like a squeeze box or like, I've got my harmonium here, but just like you're stretching out your birdie wings as you breathe in, you're going to widen. And narrow and widen. Breathe out through your mouth and narrow. And doing one more. Wonderful. Good. And we can take that into other zones, up into the chest, down to the lower belly, but just for the sake of time today, I'm going to leave that there. Last one I want to do is just some vagal breathing with tone. So I'm going to invite you to breathe in for 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold your breath for 4, 3, 2, 1, and just release out for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that pattern 4, 4, and 8 on the inhale, hold, and exhale will start to help to lengthen your exhale. We're going to add sound on the exhale. So we're going to add a leaky tie or S on the exhale. So taking a breath in, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4, and breathe in, holds, and good. Change it up. Breathe in here and holds, and this time hum. Pick a tone and just feel the vibration. Breathe in through your nose. Holds. You can squeeze if you want, and let's do one more. Breathe in, holds, and humming. Could be any tone. Just feel that vibration and go as long as you can. Beautiful. So that's just a really brief sample of some vocal liberation strategies. I basically have 10 plus strategies to use to really help to resource through fear and anxiety, to help you move the fear and the anxiety, and then ground in yourself, essentially, is what it does. So yeah, feel free to reach out to me about more information around that. It's something I love to speak about and teach about. Okay, another key to finding more confidence and ease in your expression, to move through fear into confidence, is to practice presence instead of practicing a script. Okay, so practice presence instead of practicing a script. Reason for this is that what research has found, that how you express is far more important and impactful than what you express. Okay, how you express is more important than what you express. A lot of us, at least when I used to get really anxious, I'd worry about the details of getting the words right and what I'm going to say. Blah, blah, blah. When in actuality, what the research shows is that people receive your communication mostly through your body language. So 55% of what people take in from you is through your body language, your overall vibe, and your tone of voice. Okay, body language and tone of voice makes up a big bulk, pretty much 90% of communication, or what people take in from our communication. Only 7 to 10% of communication is taken in through the actual words, okay? Only 7 to 10% is received through what you actually say. So instead, we want to focus on how you express as opposed to the script or what it is that you're saying, right? One of the best ways I found to practice presence is through embodied listening, what I call embodied listening and tuning into yourself, okay? So you get beautiful presence from listening. I am listening to my heart and to myself, as the song was at the beginning. It's a great way to help to anchor and resource in yourself and in tune to yourself so you can express through yourself. And this is particularly important for my sensitives, for my empaths, for my introverted people. And that's probably a lot of people that are tuning in here, sensitives, empaths, and introverted people, because our tendency energetically is to kind of go up and out and then lose our ground. Okay, if we're focusing too much on them or the external, it just kind of like dissociate, go up and out. Okay, it can destabilize if we don't focus and ground in first. Okay, so it's really important, even though one of the coaching tips is to connect with your audience. Yes, you want to do that, but it's really important to connect in with yourself first and listen to yourself first. Okay, so it can really help to anchor. Rather than sending the energy up and out, we want to center the energy inside and through ourselves. Okay, so one of the best ways, as I was saying, to do this is embodied listening. And now you can do this with music recording. I'm not going to do this right now, again, for the sake of time. If you want to experience this, then again, hit me up, reach out to me. And this is something that I do when I'm working with people. Invitation to just take a moment, close your eyes, take your attention to your ears. Imagine your sense of hearing expanding. Imagine your ears softening. And just take in the sounds of your breath. Hear yourself breathing. You might even be able to hear maybe tummies gurgling, depending on what time of day it is. Some people can hear their heartbeats. You might hear the sound of yourself as you're shifting a little bit, the sound of yourself. And we're not labeling good or bad. We're just noticing, naming the sounds. Let your hearing expand. So of course you're hearing my voice, but also just taking in not only the sounds of your own body, but the sounds within your room. My voice, maybe there's humming of an appliance, maybe there's other sounds. As your hearing expands beyond the room you're in, maybe there's traffic, maybe there's nature sounds, maybe there's other people. Good. And then bringing that all right back into the sound of your breath, hearing the inhale, hearing the exhale, hearing the inhale, hearing the exhale. Good. One more, hearing the inhale and the exhale. Good. And when you're ready to, let your eyes open and meet me back in the space. Good. Awesome. So I'm going to give you one more tip in terms of ditching the fear, moving through stage fright, and allowing yourself to express with more authenticity and confidence. The third key is to give your fears a voice. Okay, give your fears a voice and use them as fuel. And this might seem counterintuitive if you've never worked in this way before. It's like, no, I don't want to why would I try and actually get to know or amplify or intensify my fears? The reason is what I resist persists. Okay. And our fears are there for a purpose. We don't want to ever get rid of our fight, flight, freeze response because it's there to help us, to save us in truly dangerous moments. But we want to learn how to channel it. And I promise you that trying to ignore your fear doesn't make it quiet. It actually makes it knock louder. Okay. It doesn't. And the other thing is it doesn't actually ever completely go away. Okay. The point is not to get rid of it. And one of my first voice teachers told me that, and I thought he was crazy. But the point is to relate to it differently, to use it as fuel and channel it differently. And the reason for this is in the cave of your deepest fears lies the treasure that you seek. Okay. Often what we're trying to get rid of at all costs or change or fix about ourselves is actually the key to our genius. In the cave of your darkest fears lies the treasure that you seek. It's a beautiful quote. You can look it up. What you're trying to avoid or change is actually part of your genius, okay? So some of the ways I help people give fears their voice, when I'm working with people, this is a big part of it. We acknowledge and literally voice what we name it to claim it. What are we suppressing? And let it be expressed. And this allows more vulnerability. It lets you get to know yourself a little bit more. It weakens the resistance, right? What we resist persists. It weakens it because we look at it, we name it, and then we can transform it. We can maybe give it a new job. We can get to know it differently. We can channel it more effectively instead of trying to hide it under the rug or push it away. Your fear is actually energy. Anxiety and excitement hold the same neurological pathways, or similar anyways, in our brain. So we want to be able to use our fear for energy, okay? And there's genius in your mistakes and flaws. We want to learn to embrace these flaws and embrace our shadow and invite the demons in, as Pema Chodron says, right? So we can, often I work with people shamanically in this way, getting to know this part of ourselves or parts of ourselves that have criticism, that have fear, that have all these things that go together, and we can alchemize these emotions, okay? So again, if you want to learn more about that, reach out to me and I can help you. Okay, so just take a moment. Coming to the end of my presentation here. Thank you for staying with me so far. Just take a breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. I'm just inviting you to imagine yourself using your voice more freely. Just imagine this with me. Maybe even fast forwarding to 6 months or a year from now, imagining that you've unlocked your voice, unlocked your sound, that you're free to share, to show up and be heard, and just let yourself be with how that feels. Imagine that the fear can be channeled differently, that you can use it, that it can be useful. Hallelujah. And that the inner critic has been shifted and repurposed. Hallelujah. And imagine that new opportunities are being drawn to you, that people are magnetized to you, that there's more intimacy in your relationships, there's more available for you in terms of what you do in your work and otherwise. And that it's just so much easier to say what you mean and think. Good. And take a breath in and just holding some of that feeling, some of that image of that intention, that you can unlock more authenticity and ease in your voice. And expand it. Take another breath in and just hold it. And expand it. Opening your eyes. So thank you so much for being here. And I'd love to offer you, for those that are ready to take their ability to use their voice with more confidence and ease to the next level, to join me for a personal frequency attunement, a bio voice session where you discover the frequency patterns that your body mind needs through your speaking voice. Okay, so I've got a program that you'll talk and it'll assess the frequencies that you sing when you're speaking, and then we'll look at the pattern that creates, and we'll discover frequencies and tones that your body mind needs for balance. Within that session, I've got recordings of all the tones. I will give you the tone, you'll experience it, the sonic remedy, and we'll work with it a little. We'll get it into your body, get it into your voice, and then I'll email you the tone afterwards, okay? So it's part of a way for you to help to discover more about vocal liberation, if vocal liberation is right for you, if empowering your expression is really the right next step. And I'm going to, you can reach out to me through the comments, or you can send me a DM. For the link. I'd love to invite you to that. I've only got 5 of them for free for right now, so first come, first serve. I'd love to have you in that. So again, thank you so much for joining me here today in my talk to empower your voice. I'm Tiffany Sparrow, and just have a wonderful rest of your day.